Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I hope you are fine wherever you are. I am the ACCA tutor, Mr. Jerry Mutimokolo. I welcome you all into this video where we are going to discuss in brief the financial reporting syllabus for the ACCA, where we will delve into what really matters for one to pass this uh, ACCA exam. Okay, so the exam is titled ACCA Financial Reporting, and the assumption is, excuse me, is that the student has done the preliminary financial accounting uh, courses, all right? Maybe with ACCA or with other examining bodies, or because they have got a certain business degree from a university, uh, and so on. All right. So this video is only relevant to those who are going to write this the ACCA financial reporting examinations for December 2024 up to June 2025. All right. Uh, we no longer count September 2024 because we have already passed that examination phase. All right. So the syllabus is designed to help with planning, study, and to provide detailed information on what could be assessed in any examination session, that is, in any ACCA financial reporting examination one might sit. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this booklet has got 17 pages, and we are only going to discuss the main tenets. All right. And being a professional examination, this paper is going to require much of your effort to be devoted towards understanding what has been laid down within the syllabus. All right. Students usually, end up conflicting with their passing objective uh, by, ending up reading everything they see written as accounting. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to be guided you need to be guided by this uh, syllabus for you to pass the ACCA financial reporting examination. If you are intending to sit for the examination within or maybe by June 2025. So please pay very careful attention as I try to articulate the main components you need for you to pass. All right. So the content section is actually telling us that there are 12 issues you need to be aware of. There is the introduction to the syllabus. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to read that part. But what I want to discuss with you is these two. Okay. Let me have a darker pen. All right. So the main capabilities and the intellectual levels. I'll devote much of my time on the main capabilities section and then try to discuss one or two things about intellectual levels. So let us dive straight into the main capabilities section. All right. Now, on successful completion of this exam, candidates should be able to. So, when you get a pass mark, the moment you receive a pass mark, after you write this examination, these are the capabilities we expect to see you being able to deliver these uh, capabilities. Number one, when you receive the pass mark, you will be able to discuss and apply conceptual and regulatory frameworks for financial reporting. So, those people who have passed, they have no doubt. We are we will be having no doubt that they will be able to discuss and apply the conceptual and regulatory frameworks for financial reporting. So the bottom line is, if I am expected to be able to discuss these frameworks, then it means that I should be able to discuss the frameworks, to discuss and apply them before the examination. So, because the examination will say, when you pass, it means you are now able to discuss those things. So, what does that mean? It simply means that during my preparatory phase, during my study phase, I should be able, I should start these things so that I will be able to apply them, so that I will be able to pass the examination. So for me to pass the examination, it means I must be able to discuss and apply the conceptual and regulatory frameworks for financial reporting. Now, they have indicated for financial reporting. Why? Because there are so many conceptual frameworks. In project management, we have to be guided by conceptual frameworks. In writing a thesis, we need to be guided by a conceptual framework. So what is a conceptual framework? This is actually the guiding principles. The guiding principles, the foundation, the bedrock, the benchmark. So the guiding principles or the guiding concepts, the guiding theories. So in the sense of financial reporting, we are actually being told that if a conceptual framework is actually some set of rules that govern the preparation of financial statements, that governs how the accountants are going to do or are going to prepare those financial statements, how the accountants are going to, structure their financial statements. So in theory or in essence, the conceptual framework gives us acts as a dictionary or the rule book where we get most of the definitions that are going to be used or to be applied whenever we are preparing some financial statement. So it gives us the definitions of those main components or elements of the financial statements. For example, for us to know that a financial statement called the statement of financial position has got an asset, we need to know what an asset is. And the conceptual framework gives us that definition of an asset. It gives us the definition of a liability. It gives us the definition of equity. Similarly, when we go to the statement of profit or loss, the conceptual framework is the document that is going to give us the definition of income, the definition of an expense. Are we together? It also gives us the main objective of financial reporting. Actually, it talks of accountants. It actually gives an encouragement that accountants should produce financial statements which are meaningful, financial statements which are relevant to the users, which are useful to the users of those reports. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? So there is a dedicated video for the conceptual framework and the regulatory frameworks. You need to be able to need to watch that video so that you'll be able to discuss and apply these frameworks. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the purpose of this paper, we are going to use the recent conceptual framework, that is the one that was promulgated or that was issued by the IASB in March 2018. So you download the conceptual framework for free on the internet, and then you should be able to use the document. All right, download it for free from the IAS Plus website. Okay, I think IAS Plus website. That's where you can actually download this, right? If you just punch the Conceptual Framework 2018 on the search bar of your internet browsers, you're going to see the document. Now, let's talk about the regulatory frameworks. This one has to do with the regulation of the accounting practice or accounting discipline, the industrial regulation. Here we are talking of the regulation of the accountants themselves. For one to become a professional accountant, they should have studied and get some professional experience, and then they get the certification from an awarding body. For example, an example of an awarding body could be the ACCA, the ICAs, the ICAO, okay, uh, the there's this one, ICAO. There is this one produces CA in the United Kingdom. There is ICAs, the Zimbabwean Chartered Accountants. There is ACCA. There are a lot of bodies you can refer to. All right, uh, they all have all the, I mean, the authority that could be there, right? But it depends with jurisdictions. Now, there is also need uh, if one wants to operate in the public domain, let's say to become a public accountant, they then have to get further certification from regulatory bodies, depending on jurisdiction. In Zimbabwe, you need to be registered with the PAB for you to offer public accounting services or to become a public auditor. You then have to get the certification from the PAB. Then here we are also talking of the standard setting practices, standard setting processes or procedures, where we are talking of the International Accounting Standard Board that is charged with the duties of creating international financial reporting standards. All right, so you need to read around that area because those are basics. An accountant, a professional accountant, should be aware of those things. Otherwise, if you don't know those things, then why should we give you a pass? It means that you're not yet ready. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? Good. Now, let's move on to, item B. Account for transactions in accordance with IFRS accounting standards. So this one now is a capability. Everyone who is ready for this examination or who is preparing for this examination should be proud of accomplishing. All right? Why? Because by the end of the day, we need to be able to, apply accounting standards or to account for every business transaction in terms of what the the accounting standards say. Remember, there is one thing I forgot to discuss about when I was still on the conceptual framework phase. Remember that there is the conceptual framework and there is accounting standards. Now, I have indicated that the conceptual framework is actually the bedrock or the foundation. Now, there comes a time when it is in conflict with accounting standards. So, whenever there is a conflict between the conceptual framework and the accounting standards, you then have to take what the accounting standards say. So, in short, the accounting standards are more superior than the conceptual framework, or in essence, the conceptual framework is actually voluntary, whereas the accounting standards are mandatory. You need to follow the accounting standards first. But now, when there is no guidance from the accounting standard, when there is no specific guidance from the accounting standards, then you need to go back to the conceptual framework to see what the framework says. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, now I have been stating that we need to then give precedence to the accounting standards. Now, on part B, our capability is to be able to account for every business transaction in accordance with IFRS accounting standards. They are so many. As you can see here, as you go through the syllabus, okay, you can see there are a lot of them. Okay, now these ones are just areas which are covered by those standards, but it doesn't mean that those are the actual names of the accounting standards, and it doesn't mean that this this one is just a listing 1 2 3 up to 12. It's just a listing of areas, but doesn't necessarily mean that those are accounting standards numbers. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay, so for example, if we look at number one, the tangible non-current assets, there are a lot of standards that deal with tangible non-current assets. For example, we have got IAS 16, that is property, plant, and equipment. We have got IAS 23, that is borrowing costs. And then we also have IAS 40, investment property. So you can see that there are a lot of standards at a particular area. There could be a lot of standards at a particular area, and you then have to be able to discuss and apply those standards, as well as to account for any transactions relating to those standards. As an accountant, you need to be able to account for those transactions in terms of the standards which are applicable in those areas. Then there is intangible assets. Here we are looking at IAS 38. Then impairment of assets, this is IAS 36. Inventories and agriculture, we are looking at IAS 2 and 41. Then financial instruments, we are looking at IFRS 9. There is also IAS 32 and IFRS 7. So you need to be able to understand this. Otherwise, if you are not mastering them, then you're not going to be ready to pass. So you can see that there is much work to be done. Normally, this paper is studied over 6 months. So we need to brace up. If we are going to write in December, it means we need to put much effort. If we are writing in March, yes, we also have to have that zeal to pass. We need to have that self-drive. Otherwise, if we can't manage pressure, if we can't, regulate ourselves or make up our minds, then we are actually wasting our time. It is encouraged that you guys need to put much of the, self-motivation in your daily personal plans. Are we together? As you can see, there are a lot of standards. This one, leasing, we are looking at IFRS 16. Provisions and events after the reporting date, we are looking at IAS 37 and IAS 10. Taxation, we are looking at IAS 12. Financial reporting performance, this one is talks of many accounting standards. Okay, it's many accounting standards, but there is also IAS 1. Okay, preparation of financial statements, that is also applicable there. But a lot of accounting standards will also be involved in reporting financial performance. What is financial performance? What are we talking about? We are talking about the preparation of the statement of profit or loss itself. Are we together? How do you report? Right? Then revenue. This is IFRS 15. Government grants, IS 20. Then foreign currency transactions, that's IS 21. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that there are a lot of standards to cover, right? But don't worry. This is why we are together. This is why you have engaged with me. All right. Then there is also the part we need to be talking about, that is on section C, where we are required to analyze and interpret the financial statements. Here we are talking of those ratios and so forth. But as a hint, ladies and gentlemen, don't always think that ratios are going to be asked on aspects of businesses which make profits. Sometimes you'll be tested on a scenario that involves a non-profit organization, and you should be able to analyze the financial statements and discuss about how they should be able to meet their aims. All right, so it's not only about analyzing financial statements for profit-making entities. You can also be given a scenario of a public sector entity or a non-profit organization like an NGO. So you should be able to prepare your mind that you are able to analyze those financial statements. Then on part D, need to prepare and present financial statements for single entities as well as business combinations in accordance with IFRS accounting standard. So you should be able to prepare financial statements for a single entity and for those businesses which are in a business combination or which are under the same control. So those are the consolidated financial statements. You need to be able to prepare them. Then on part E, here we are looking at your demonstration for employability and technological skills. Here it is encouraged or it is rather an advantage to study in an environment where you make use of computers most of the time, because your examination is going to be a computer-based examination. So you should be privy to the use of computers. Otherwise, if you start ACCA the traditional way in a brick and mortar class, by the end of the day, you are going to be on a disadvantage or at a disadvantage when it comes to time management and ability to present good work to examiners. So if you are studying online like this, it means that your abilities in the use of computers is going to be given a plus, is at an advantage, because some of the assignments I'm going to give you is going to require you to utilize Excel, and some of the tests I'm going to give you are sometimes time bound or time pressured or time limited. So it means that for you to be able to pass those assessments, you should be able to use your computer skills. And on top of that, remember, but after ACCA, there is life. You need to be employed. So if you are somebody who is scared of computers, how are you going to be employed? So this is your chance to upgrade your skills, to utilize whatever skill set you have, to ensure that you put technology at your advantage. So you'll be tested on computer skills through the use of Excel and so forth. You need to master those skills. At this level, there are no questions that are specifically going to come to test your Excel skills, but you'll be tested on those skills through the use of the platforms in answering questions. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? I'm sure I have done justice to the introductory phase of this paper. Now, there are certain things we need to talk about. The intellectual levels. The syllabus is designed to progressively broaden and deepen the knowledge, skills, and professional values demonstrated by the student on their way through the qualification. The specific capabilities within the detailed syllabuses and study guides are accessed at one of the three intellectual or cognitive levels. That's level one, that is the knowledge and the comprehension. You need to show the examiners that at least you know these items, you know these areas, and you can comprehend. Comprehension has got to do with remembering things or getting things, and they are actually cast at the back of your heart. Then level two, here we are talking of application and analysis. You need to be able to apply what you know in a given scenario, which means your answer should not be a regurgitated answer from the textbook, but you need to apply it specifically to the scenario given. Then level three, synthesis and evaluation. Sometimes you need to show the examiners that you are seeing beyond the lenses. You are strategic. You are somebody with a vision. You can actually make some sense out of the information given. So that ability to analyze, to go deeper, and come up with something brilliant. That's what we are talking about here. So, very broadly, these intellectual levels relate to the three cognitive levels at which the applied knowledge, the applied skills, and the strategic professional exams are accessed. Each subject area in the detailed study guide included in this document is given a 1, 2, or 3 superscript denoting intellectual level, marked at the end of each relevant learning outcome. So what this statement simply means is that when you go to the detailed part of the exam of this syllabus, you're going to see these levels indicated. For example, let me try to zoom out. Okay, you can see here there is a superscript number 2. So what it means is that this whole component, okay, this C there, that says explain and compute amounts using the following measures: historical cost, current cost, value in use or fulfillment value, and fair value. That part of the syllabus is at level 2. At level 2, that's the level we said that you need to show some analytical abilities, some ability to compute things, application and analysis. Okay, in terms of knowledge and comprehension, you know what historical cost is all about. But when you are given a scenario, you then have to be able to come up with the computations. That's level 2. Figures, computations, and analysis. Tell us what those figures mean. Okay? Calculate the figures and then tell us what the answer means. That's a level 2 requirement. That's not even strategic, but it's a level 2. Then at level 3, maybe they'll say, what does that mean in the longer term to the business? Then that's when we talk of synthesis and evaluation. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? So basically, this is what I wanted you guys to know. All right, I want you to read through the syllabus. This is your first week, and you then have to be able to understand the syllabus. Read everything. This is a 17-page document. Read everything inside out so that your journey will be very clear. I want you to get, ladies and gentlemen. So, if you find the video very useful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and relatives, and remember to tell them to come to the ACCA tutor if they want to pass this ACCA paper or the whole ACCA qualification within a shortest possible period of time. All right, so this is my number. That's +263 774 596 368. Okay,